The sun was barely over the training field when the platoon assembled for morning drills. Dust hung in the air, boots thudded in unison, and the crisp bark of orders echoed off the concrete walls. In the center stood Commander Rourke, a man known for breaking egos more ruthlessly than he broke recruits. Private Lena Hale stepped into formation, silent, focused, her expression unreadable. She'd been reassigned from a covert training unit, but nobody here knew that. All they saw was a small framed woman with quiet eyes in a spotless uniform. Rourke's gaze landed on her. A slow smirk crept across his face. Well, he drawled loudly enough for everyone to hear. A useless female soldier in my platoon. Fantastic. Maybe you can hand out water while the real soldiers work. Snickers rippled through the ranks. Lena didn't flinch. She just looked straight ahead, calm as glass. Rourke stepped closer. Tell me, Private Hale, do you even know how to throw a punch? Or do you cry when someone raises their voice? She remained silent. That irritated him even more. All right, he barked. Combat drills. You, front and center. If you're going to be here, you better learn what real fighting looks like. The platoon formed a rough circle around the sparring mat. Soldiers muttered bets under their breath, how long she'd last, how fast she'd fall. Rourke cracked his knuckles, rolling his neck side to side. Don't worry, he sneered. I'll go easy. I don't want to break you on day one. Lena stepped onto the mat with a slow, deliberate breath. Permission to engage at full level, sir. A few soldiers gasped at the boldness. Rourke blinked, caught off guard. Full level, you won't survive half level. Try me. That was the first moment his confidence slipped. The whistle blew. Rourke lunged first, fast and heavy, but Lena slipped sideways like water running around a stone. His fist cut air. Before he could blink, she tapped his wrist, redirecting his momentum, making him stumble. What? Rourke regained footing and swung again, harder. Again, she wasn't there. The platoon fell silent, watching the impossible, a commander chasing a private who moved with surgical precision, each motion controlled, measured, effortless. Rourke roared in frustration and charged head-on. That's when she struck. A pivot, a shoulder drop, a perfect center of mass sweep. The commander's feet left the ground. He slammed onto the mat with a thunderous wham, air exploding from his lungs. Before he could react, Lena was already beside him, hand hovering just above his throat, not touching, but close enough that everyone understood what it meant. A finishing strike, a clean win. The entire platoon froze. Rourke blinked up at her, dazed, unable to speak, completely knocked out of the fight by the very soldier he'd mocked minutes earlier. When she stepped back and saluted, her voice was calm, professional, steady. Requesting further instructions, sir. But Commander Rourke just lay there, staring at the sky, finally understanding exactly who he had underestimated. Commander Rourke sat on the med bench beside the training field, a cold pack pressed against the back of his neck. The platoon pretended not to stare, but every pair of eyes kept drifting toward him, and toward Private Lena Hale, who stood quietly at attention near the mat, as if nothing unusual had happened. The medic finally stepped away. You're fine, sir. Just took a heavy fall. Rourke shot him a glare. I didn't fall, but even he didn't sound convinced. He looked at Lena again, this time without the arrogance, without the mockery, just confusion. Private Hale, he called. She stepped forward. Sir. What exactly was that? Standard displacement technique, sir. That wasn't standard. I've trained special forces who can't move like that. A flicker of silence hung between them before Lena replied softly, with respect, sir, you weren't attacking with special forces precision. A few soldiers coughed to hide laughs. Rourke raised a hand and the laughter died instantly. But he wasn't angry now. He was curious. Fine, he said. Drills are done. Formation, move to the obstacle course. The platoon moved, but not quickly enough. Everyone was still whispering. The legend had already begun forming. Whispers of did you see how she moved? Whispers of he didn't stand a chance. Whispers of who is she really? The obstacle course stretched across 2 acres, ropes, walls, tunnels, water pits, climbing nets, notorious for breaking even seasoned soldiers. Rourke stood at the start line. Since Private Hale thinks she can fight, let's see if she can run. Lena simply nodded. Entire platoon, run with her, he ordered. And you're racing against me. I don't lose. The whistle blew. Rourke tore down the lane with explosive power, feet pounding, muscles burning with determination. The platoon surged behind him. For the first 100 meters, he was ahead. Then he heard it, light footsteps approaching. Too light to be any of the men. Lena passed him in a blur, boots barely touching the ground, posture easy, controlled. She didn't even look like she was trying. Rourke's jaw clenched. He pushed harder. She reached the first wall, vaulted over it with a single fluid leap, landed silently, and continued as if she'd trained on this course her entire life. The platoon watched in stunned silence as she pulled ahead, then farther, then disappeared entirely around the next turn. By the time Rourke finished the course, panting, drenched in sweat, and fighting to stay upright, Lena Hale stood at the finish line. Not winded, not sweating, breathing calmly. She saluted the moment he arrived. Completed, sir. Rourke stared at her, chest heaving. What is your background? Lena hesitated, only for a moment. Reassigned from a classified combat evaluation unit, sir. Instructors were prohibited from revealing my record. The platoon stood frozen. Rourke swallowed hard. He wasn't just dealing with a new recruit. He was dealing with someone forged in a world far above his own. Slowly, almost reluctantly, he nodded. Private Hale, welcome to the platoon. This time, the respect in his voice was real.